Hello everybody. Today we're going to be talking about a really important subject of creating transformation in a long-lasting container, in a long-lasting manner through starting to shift the paradigm from focusing on our symptoms as a society to the core reasons that things happen. So if you guys are interested to hear more about that, stick around. I'm really happy to see you guys. My name is Dove.
I'm Nicole.
So if you guys are brand new, welcome. We're consciousness mentors, motivational speakers, and we're here to create some activation, some shift in this conversation, as well as discuss some ways that you guys can take your next step. And it is our second day. Hi, Sophie.
Sophia wants to say something to y'all.
That's our puppy, Sophia, and she's always
hello,
talking
hello,
in our
hello,
videos.
beautifuls.
This, if you're watching it on the replay, we're welcome. Really happy to have you guys. But if you're watching this live, also really happy. Make sure that you share it and like it. This is our second live for YouTube and Facebook at the same time. So hi, YouTube. We're really excited to see you guys.
What's up, YouTube?
Good morning, Facebook. How is it going? Tell us where you guys are. What's going on with you
Yeah,
this
where are you
morning?
guys from? Say hello. We want to say hello. Indiana.
Yes.
One of our girls is here right now from Indiana. One of our besties.
Yeah, it's really, really good to see you guys. And it's really nice to merge our communities. So if you guys are not on our Facebook and you're on YouTube, come and join us, Twin Flame Revolution Facebook. If you are not on our YouTube and you want information, video and content on there, we invite you guys to check out our YouTube. So if this stuff starts resonating for you, if you are new, if you haven't subscribed on our different platforms or on Instagram, make sure to come and check us out. So, as you guys are checking out, good morning, good morning, good morning, New York. Oh, it's cold. It's cold up there. So, yes, I'm really happy to see you guys.
Yes.
So, this subject, it's really interesting because as we kind of come into a deeper and deeper consciousness that you guys are on this journey, right? If you're watching this video, something brought you to this question of, there's more. Right? I'm starting to ask why. I am curious about evolving myself. There must be more answers. And, for me, it's interesting because I watch children all the time, right? And Nicole watches children all the time. And they ask why to everything. And then as we grow up, we stop asking that question. We stop asking, why do we do it? Why is it true? Why do I believe it? And yesterday we did a live with you. And if you guys didn't see it, make sure to go check it out. Where we're talking about manifestation, right? And we're talking about the consciousness that happens, our belief systems that happen. Well, it's not just beliefs that happen. It's also that in the not asking why we feel a certain way, we don't actually go to the root of those beliefs, of those trajectories, of the manifestation of those things. And what is it, right? So maybe we're experiencing discomfort or sleeplessness or, depressed energy, high and unstable energy, anxious energy, right? And we're having these experiences or dealing with things like substance abuse, and they're symptomatic.
Yes.
And, Nicole and I have had various symptomatic issues in our life, just as all of us, because it becomes like a spider web.
Yes.
And so we have some core traumas, some core issues, some core experiences. And what happens is they become so well incubated and hidden from our consciousness and hidden from our understanding that then they breed and spin off massive amounts of symptoms. And we start playing like whack-a-mole, trying to hit every symptom possible and feel frustrated and lost at the fact that we're working on symptoms for years. That we're not getting the transformation that we want, that we're not breaking through the barriers. And this is some serious stuff because what we're talking about and dealing with, right, is feeling hopeless, feeling like we're getting, nowhere, feeling like we're dealing with many, many problems. People come to me all the time. They say, I have so many things going on. And it's not that you have so many things going on. It's there's so many symptoms going on at this point, and we do not understand where to trace them back.
Yes.
We don't understand where they come from. And we wanted to dialogue with you guys today because this is how Nicole and I work. Our whole business, our whole service is designed around looking at the core.
Yeah.
What is underneath? Why are you experiencing that symptom? And how do you create a transformation that has this real consistency or this real permanency for yourself that doesn't feel like you just keep going back to the same place over and over again?
Oh my God. So yes, yes, yes. So I love what Dove said, that we need to look at what's causing something, right?
Yes.
And we even have to do that. It's very important that we do that when our life starts changing and we start having awesome symptoms. Like when we start having like gratitude and we start to serve and we start to laugh and we feel really whole and we start to have peace. We also need to look inside and figure out where the hell that's coming from, so that we know, because we know that we're able to replicate that. And so I wanted to start with that, right? When we go into gratitude and I go into, oh my God, I have peace when I go outside and put my feet in the grass and I feel connected to every living thing that is breathing and walking, and all the trees and the plants and the animals and the peeps, being able to connect with them and being able to pray every morning and connect with my higher self, with God. Those are the places where I start to feel this symptomatic things start to happen within me, where I'm starting to be able to touch, I feel myself. I'm able to be in my shoes. I'm able to be in my body. I'm able to feel comfortable. I'm able to communicate. I'm able to smile. I'm able to phone a friend when I'm not doing well, all of these things. And so when I look back at my life, when I was in, how many of you are in survival mode? Please raise your hand, say, hey, put a 1 in the comments. Like, feel like you were in survival mode or are in survival mode. We go through things in our life. We go through hard times in our life. We all experience pain. We all have a pain body.
Yes.
We all go through trauma. And if you didn't have that much trauma, you are carrying 14 generations of your ancestors' trauma.
Yes.
So if you think you don't have some trauma, I'm telling you right now, your cells and your DNA have trauma in it. And if you think that we don't have memory from the time that this planet started, well, we do. There's Akashic records. There is a memory that goes all the way back. So every historical trauma that has happened on this planet, every war, everything that's ever taken place, any genocide, whatever it has been, your body and soul and you, there is a part of you that it's in there. And there's pain there. Right? And you've experienced that. So all these things are in there, and we go into survival mode. It's where ego comes from, because it's so scared. It's like we have to survive. Right? I have to make money. Right? I have to protect myself. I have to put walls up. I'm not messing with you. You're toxic. I can't do this. I can't do that. I'm not going to do that.
Yes.
And we start to box ourselves in, and we start to lose this free flow that I was talking about in the beginning, this connection, right, to all things, where it feels like you could breathe, and you're in this space of survival. And to survive, we start to grab onto tools because we're now panicking. I need to survive. We start to grab onto tools, right? And the doctor's writing scripts, and this person's telling you this stuff that you need to, and it's like all of a sudden we start grabbing. And I remember, I used to tell people my addiction wasn't to crack cocaine, heroin, all those things. It was to more. It was more of anything that would make me feel better, right? All those things that I just said. If you look at gambling, I was never a gambler, but that was like the one thing I wasn't. When you look at drug addiction, or you look at staying on social media all day, or you look at porn addiction, and you look at all of these addictions, what do they all have in common? They're all producing dopamine in your brain, this feel-good hormone. And what it does is it, boom, it blasts, and it gives you this sense of, I feel good. Right? But what happens is these moments of spurts are not sustainable. Yes. They're not sustainable. The things that are sustainable is connected to the earth, connected to God, finding out who the heck you are, understanding that you're a big, big soul. Those type of things, they're everlasting, they're infinite, right? They're bigger than the human dopamine spurt that happens. And so we reach outside of ourselves, and then what happens is they work for a very small amount of time. In my life, I remember they worked. I'm still breathing right now, people. I'm still here. It got me here, right? Until it turned on me and it stopped working for me. For some of you, you have patterns or choices that you've been making in your life that to survive, because you're surviving, or maybe you're living and thriving, right?
Yes.
Right? I'm living and thriving right now. And when it stops working, we're stuck. We're stuck at a crossroads because we don't know how to go from this to when we talk about going inward to look at the issue and then being able to deal with that. Like we don't know how to do that. We're so used to grabbing. I remember all the things that I've ever done. I used to try to, you know how many times I moved geographical change to think that if I just changed my scenery, that everything would be better. And then I realized there I go with myself, and I'm taking myself with myself to the next place and creating the same reality. It didn't matter what state I was in. I'd always be like running from the state. Oh, that drug is bad there. And I would run to the next state, find a new drug, find a new girl, find a new addiction, find something else to try to fill the void that if we do not find ourselves inside, if we do not get down to the substance of what we are made up, and you finding worth in just being here and being alive, you will want to reach to something to ease the pain. And I'm here to tell you, baby, you are that person, right? Between you and connecting with your tribe and God and those and source, really, like whatever you want to call that, right? Call him, her, whatever. That space is where, when we start to heal all things Dove was talking about, the core wound, the ancestral trauma, right? Core traumas, right? Stuff that's in your memory, stuff that's in your physical body. What happens is the symptomatic stuff start to change. It has to.
Yes.
Yesterday, we talked about being this energetic projector from our mind and our thoughts and our emotions. And so if you are beginning to feel whole as you are healing and you are starting to see yourself, your outsides will start to shift. Yes. And I can remember when I started to look within and I didn't know where to go. As soon as I asked for help, all of a sudden I'd get the right tools at the right time, the right people, the right program, the right things for that layer of growth. And then I'd go deeper and it would get harder. And I'd need new therapists, new program, new something new. And it would just come in. And so I was always being led.
Yes.
All right, I said we got to go inward, but here's the thing. We're living in the 3D world. So whatever's going on inside has to come out in your 3D world. You're a 3D human. You are living a 3D life. I'm like, da-na-na. I just heard music. Sorry. And all of those other things.
And all the other ones.
And all the other dimensions. But for right now, right?
Yes.
To shift, we got to play. We got to play in the 3D playground. Yes. And we don't do it alone here. That's not the way this works. We are connected here. We need each other. I did a video once where I was like, when did we stop saying I need you? We were like, oh my God, we're so codependent. And we're, okay, yeah, there's some times where we've been codependent. There's all those things, but we need each other. Yes. Right? I need guidance. I need eyes in places that my eyes are weary. I need guides in places that I am not strong. When I am weak, then I am strong because I get the help from something that is stronger than myself. Whether it is God or whether it is someone, it's God working through someone, right? Whoosh.
Ooh. Can I get an aho amen from you guys? Anybody who's feeling this, and I gotta say, this is really, I love when Spirit speaks through Nicole and it comes through, and this is service, right? This is service for and with you guys, right? Why do I mean for and with you guys? Because you guys are a part of this. You are facilitating this. If you weren't sitting here in this space, sharing this space, creating this community, then we wouldn't actually be generating these messages, and we wouldn't be able to connect in this space. We wouldn't be able to serve you. We wouldn't be able to support you and celebrate your next steps and the facts that you're changing right now because you're sitting in this space taking this next step. So I'm actually also going to ask you guys to share, right? So if right now you feel like you have a friend, family member, or somebody that you know that needs to hear this message, tag them. If you feel that you can share this video on your platform and that is comfortable for you, please share it. I want to invite as many people into this dialogue as possible. And if you're watching this on the replay, that is amazing. And also giving the opportunity to people to watch this live in this moment. And so, Nicole said some really, really powerful and incredible stuff. And I think that we don't realize that a lot of the time we are living in a bit of survival, right? We are dealing with a heavier load than we think we are dealing with. So what I hear a lot of the time as a practitioner, as a mentor, as a conscious mentor, right? And if some of you guys are wondering what that is, I mean, what Nicole and I are designed and divine to do is to stand in a space where we are going to shift your consciousness. So what does that feel like? Radical shift in consciousness means that we have to fill in gaps where information is missing or correct aspects where the belief systems are not serving, right? And so that does feel like a little resistance and that does feel a little transformation, but that also goes to what Nicole was saying, which we need eyes for the blind spots because the mind that got us into it is not the mind that gets us out of it. And so if we're sitting in our space and you've done a lot of work, and I honor each and every one of you for what you've done, because if you hadn't done anything, you wouldn't be sitting here watching this today. And so honoring yourself in this moment of what you've done, but then thinking and striving for what isn't working for me anymore? How do I want to shift that space? And the fact is that a lot of internal shifting needs to happen in order to get out of that space. And we also talked yesterday about not feeling that the world is happening to us. And with symptoms, we feel the world is happening to us, right? Because the symptoms feel detached from us, right? Why is this happening is a question that we don't really often ask, and so we just experience it all around us, and we have the proverbial sort of why that really isn't a question, right? It's really not a question. We just say like, why is this happening to me? It's not really a question. We're not really diving into it, and we've become so conditioned to be that way. What happens when we have a headache now? It's pretty automatic for us to go get a remedy for the headache, right? Whether that be Western or Eastern or whatever it is. But we're gonna go grab something and remedy the headache. It's very rare that we say, why do I have a headache? Do I need to stretch? Did I need a glass of water?
Drink some water, duh.
I can't move around too much. I hurt my neck. Right? Don't forget to laugh, guys.
H2O, go!
This is a journey. It's rare that we dive into that space. And for those of you guys that are doing that, and that this is a reminder and you're on the path and it's awesome and it's amazing, but we have to start to train ourselves out of that paradigm to go into the space of, okay, why? What is underneath there? So what I was going to say is that in my practice, I have found that a lot of people will say, well, I'm over it, or I should be. And what I want to say to you is that we don't get over traumas, impacts, belief systems, losses. We don't get over them like a cold. They're not a cold. What they are is that we actually have to transmit and transfer ourselves through them by really releasing what it activated, what it hit. So did it cause core wounding? Did it cause trauma? Is it hitting you on a cellular level? Is it hitting you on a consciousness level? That needs to be addressed. And so if you're sitting there with a lot of ideas, or you've been hard on yourself, or the world has said to you like you should be over that or get over that, unless you've really dove into it head on, then all we've really done is boxed it up nice and tight, stuck it in the basement, let it get really, really moldy. And what it has done now,
baby.
it grew a bunch of symptoms. It grew a bunch of symptoms, and you know what you did? You forgot about it. You forgot that it was in the basement. You forgot that it was molding. Therefore, the symptoms seem like the problem. And then you wipe the first set of symptoms down, and then there's maybe 3, 4 other layers of symptoms, and you think you're getting the root, you think you're hitting the core, but you're not there. Because it's so detached from the original cause that we don't remember it. And I have to say that, it has been an absolute privilege to have found and divined methodologies where we can actually access these things. Right?
Yes.
I have some of you guys on here right now that have taken our certification course, and it really, really is exciting for me. And when we started our certification, and because we do offer a practitioner certification to teach you guys how to activate and find these things for other people, whether you're not yet a mentor or coach, or you are, and you want to take it to the next level, it was one of the most beautiful things to share with other people, is that you can help other people to find these core reasons. And that's how we work. When we work one-on-one, we look at you not only as an energy, then we look at your consciousness, then we look at your 3D choices, right? And so I want you guys to start to understand why we work the way we do. And it's interesting because a lot of you guys have asked us, like, can you do a session live on video, or can you show us? And there are some really, we've heard you, stuff's coming, right? But, I wanted to talk about this because a lot of you guys have asked, how you work, what does it look like? What does it look like, to use your methods? And it's designed around this principle. All our work is designed around this principle of getting you closer to you, feeling that self-empowered responsibility, feeling that creative energy, feeling that you are the creator, you're the decider, and understanding what is in the way of that, right? And what is underneath. And it's really interesting because we're so, as Nicole was saying, we're so conditioned to detach. Right? So we grab outside, we get distracted, we've got things that they're paradoxical, right? So we're sitting here right now on these social media platforms, and they're amazing. Yes, thank goodness that we have these, and we can communicate, we can create this consciousness shift, and we can all be on here, and you guys can share this, and you can follow, and we can do all of that, right? And so, yes, follow us, subscribe, make sure you connect. right? And so we have this ability, but simultaneously, everything is a paradox. And so we have the ability to also use this to get outside of ourselves, to distract ourselves, to not grow, to not be present in that space. And another really common thing, right, that I want you guys to feel into, and you can say, like, this happens to me, you know, and a lot of things I'm talking about, this happens to all humans. And so we have moments where it's like, wow, I just watched a whole chunk of time go by, or I'm doing this because I don't want to be present with myself. I want to not feel, because one of the hardest things is that we fill up. We fill up with all of these wounds and these stories and these energies that we're talking about, and we don't know how to release it.
Yes.
We don't know how to get to the bottom of it. And so what happens is it becomes really painful to be present with ourselves. Really, really fundamentally present with ourselves. And I remember doing, you know, some VIP work, in-person work with people where we spent the whole day doing an intensive with Nicole and I. And I remember one person in particular that we couldn't even settle into being like wholly present in this person's body. It took 3.5 hours to do it for 40 seconds.
Yes.
Right? And this wouldn't be obvious to anybody else, right? It wouldn't be obvious. This person's not walking through life like, you know, nobody would think that they can be present with themselves, you know, so on and so forth. But the thing is that we are living in a world where we're so easily able to distract from that.
Yeah.
And so then when people say to me, like, I've got a little something going on, and it's like, we chip away at that and it's boom.
Yeah.
It's not a little something going on.
Yeah, you know, I wanted to share something with you guys since we're creating a dialogue with our stories and stuff. And so it was interesting. Somebody asked, like, how do you get down the root? And I just want to give you an example of something in my life. I can remember, you know, in my life, I first had like addiction issues. And so it was like women. And then I went from that to like, perfectionism, women, cheating was also kind of like an addiction, alcohol, and then drugs, and so on. And I then had an eating disorder that came out of all of that. And then I didn't know why. That, you know, I had no idea what that was. I thought it was about my weight. I thought it was about, you know, wanting to be skinny. I thought it was a bunch of things. And so later on in my life, when I was actually ready to get the information, right, served to me as I was doing all this work, right, because sometimes the root doesn't come out right away. Sure. We got to go through some bushes, some rocks, some jacked up soil to get down.
All the time.
Listen to the root, because we're not ready. You know when you're like, you can't handle the truth, that whole thing? You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth sometimes. Because if you got the whole truth at a certain point in your evolution, you probably have a breakdown, might, you know, blow some things up or hurt yourself. I'm not kidding, right? Because if I got the information about my sex abuse when I was really a little, you know, evolutionary being, it would have been a lot different. And so later on in my life, right, I come to find out that I had sex abuse in my story when I was a little baby. And then come to find out that 90% of people that have been sexually assaulted or abused have an eating disorder. And then I'm like, whoa, okay, that makes sense. And then I start to look at the eating disorder. Like everything felt out of control when that was happening to me. I had no control. My free will, my sovereignty in that moment was taken from me. And in that moment, right, I had no control. And so what can you control? Your weight. Let's lose weight. And I felt like I had some kind of control. Some of you guys have symptoms in your life and behaviors that make you feel like you're in control. My drug addiction made me feel like I was free to do whatever I want. And I got a lot of attention. It was bad attention, but I got attention. And in my life, people didn't see me or hear me growing up. And so I was like, you know what? You didn't see me. You didn't hear me. I'm going to do drugs because I know you guys know that I was going to go to college, become a freaking professional soccer player. And I was like, the only way, this was my brain, to really get their attention is to take my life and blow it up. And so I did these things for those reasons. And once I realized why I was doing them, now we start to go in this healing process, and now we have to deal with the pain and the grief of the trauma.
Yes.
The pain and the grief of not being seen, not being heard, not, you know, no one listening, everyone shoving it under the carpet, the abuse that you went through, the stuff that wasn't right when you were younger, the things that you had to witness. Then what happens is you witness all those things, and then you end up turning that on yourself, and you start abusing yourself and abandoning yourself and not listening to yourself and seeing yourself, and you go against intuition. And before you know it, you are a mess, and you are full of guilt and shame because now you are not in alignment with the beautiful being that you are. Yeah. And when we go into guilt and shame, it is the lowest vibration. And when we're in that space, we start to attract things that we do not want in our life. We start to attract energies that we do not want in our life. And then we feel stuck and we feel like there's no way out.
Yeah.
And as we go back in those story that I just told you, you start to look at those things, and it's very complex, yet it's really simple. Because love, unconditional love consciousness, unconditional love, that vibration let me tell you something. It's going to show you the truth. If you ask for it and you pray for it and you ask for it and you're calling that in, I promise you, because I know love, and love is patient and kind, and love is beautiful, and love is truth, and truth, yesterday I told you, smacks friggin' the lies out of the park. We'll go in and do what it does, because love does something very, very beautiful. Love actually brings you back to the truth. And no matter what you have gone through, when we get past all of it, we come back to this: I am whole, I am awesome, I can do this, I do not have to survive, I get to live my life, I get to live it like so yummily, I get to express myself like it's not a word, it's my hashtag yummily, I know it's not a word. You get to express yourself and come out of the friggin' ashes, the pain, the suffering. Oh, Sophia loved that one. Did you love that, baby? She was like, this is yummy. And your life changes. Now, does life stop happening? No. No, we get stronger for it. Does pain still happen? Does some suffer? Yes, but you get stronger. And then you have a team behind you. And then you learn how to do this and look at yourself. And that's infinite. Love is infinite. That kind of information goes in when we talk about consciousness mentoring, consciousness shifting. When your stuff shifts, it only takes one truth to shift the whole thing. And when that shifts, it is shifted for good. So many of you are like, I feel like I'm going backwards. You may be choosing things that are old for you, that don't feel good. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that your consciousness went backwards. Your consciousness stayed. You are right here, right now. You are still evolving. You're not the same person that you were before we started this.
Yep.
You are so different right now.
Yeah, you're already changing. I love that. You know, every single moment you are changing. And so one of the biggest lies that is perpetuated is that we don't change, or that we don't change, we can't change quickly, that we stop evolving at some point. It's a never ending process of evolution. And the beautiful thing of diving into these core areas is that we're mining all of the goodness, and it's creating your growth. It's creating your growth because you chose those traumas and experiences, and that's a different video, different conversation, different topic. But there's an aspect of soul level choice to our experiences. And that allows us to gain a set of skills. I am getting the hiccups. So you get a set of skills, in a set of understanding, a set of keys, a set of processes that you can relate to other people with. And, one of the things that I'll say too is that working with people with major core issues and wounds and traumas, massive, heavy weight, I've seen people be able to create a total transformation. I've seen people be able to have a new perspective. I've seen people understand and feel empowered by the negative things that they've experienced. And so I know that wherever you are, whether it becomes a journey with Nicole and I, or if it's something that you're doing with someone else, I know that whatever you have in front of you can be transformed. It can be shifted. You can see that the reason that it happened, you can move out of that space. But what cannot create that sustainable transformation is not being able to move past the symptoms, right? And so if we're constantly putting Band-Aids on gaping wounds and bleeding hemorrhages, we're not able to actually get that under wraps. And so what I would say to you is take an inventory. Where are you? Are you in a place that you're needing support? And for some of you guys that are feeling, for you guys that are really in action mode and you're really high level in the space of like wanting to take a high level change is what I mean. You're all high level. You're wanting to take a high level change. Nicole and I actually very rarely have spots open, and we have spots open for our one-on-one work at the beginning of the new year. And one spot open for the end of this year. So I would say if this is something that's hitting you, and because we are having our Black Friday super sale, which allows you to get gift certificates to put towards things like our certification program, working one-to-one, things like that, I would say send us a message, right? Send us a message. Let's dialogue. We're going to be more available the next couple of days to make sure that people people get the chance to consider how they might want to be supported through their process. So if you haven't checked out twinflamerevolution.com and you haven't seen what we do and you haven't seen how we can support you, this might be the time that you want to investigate a little this weekend, because we only do these certificates once a year. And so it allows you to get that little bit of momentum, that little bit of help to make some of those next steps. So I really want to bring that to your attention, because it is important for me to be able to not only help you meet your goals, but be able to, do that without you guys missing this opportunity. And you're already changing. So the questions you had of like, how am I going to get there? You're already shifting the consciousness. For those of you that didn't realize, now you're thinking about this concept, and now you're starting to take your own inventory, and now you're starting to see what things might be symptomatic. And so I really, this is how the shift starts to happen. And somebody asked, if you want to check out what the Black Friday deals are, you can just check the link that's in your description of this video. So just click that, you can check it out. And then if you need to see what we offer, you can go ahead and go to our website. You can also message us. So you can message us, we'll be available over the weekend again, so you guys can make the right choices for you. And if you missed the mind and manifestation, like super amazing 2-part intensive that we talked about yesterday, check that out on the Black Friday page too. That's at a really good starting rate.
One of my faves.
Yeah, I'm really,
so yummy.
I cannot tell you guys, I had somebody message us last night, they already started. You're so awesome, by the way, this person. They not only already started, but they're already like almost done is what I mean. And we just put it out yesterday. And they were saying that it's already created like so many different levels of breakthrough. So I want, to have these dialogues and these conversations with you guys, and then to give you the next steps that you can take.
Yes.
So just know that as you're already starting to see with precision, it's changing. So this is the last thing that I want to say to you guys, is that transformation is also facilitated by precise identification of what the issue is. So it's not just oh, I have a root cause. It's what is the very precise. And the example that I give to people all the time, and this is where I'm grateful for the gifts that Nicole and I have and the laser ability to focus in. And again, something that our practitioners get when they, go through our certification, is the ability to identify what is precisely going on. So if you're saying, I want to fix something is off in me, think about it. Let's take it to a logistical standpoint. I go to the hospital and I say, I need an operation. And the doctor says, okay. And that's all I know. And let's say that's all the doctor knows. He can't just start chopping chunks of my body off until he maybe falls on. And funny enough, that is actually how we consider this. That is actually what we do. We're just like, something is wrong, and I'm just going to start grabbing and chopping chunks. And the thing is that when we identify with precision what it is that's actually going on. So if I say, okay, I have a small mass on my left toe, so on and so forth, and it's my baby toe, and it's in this quadrant, and we've identified, and then they take a little piece off, and then that allows the resolution. So really what it is, it's not just getting to the core, it's getting to the core and understanding it precisely.
Yes.
So every time you identify something precisely, you automatically bring in the ability for that to change in the moment. I'm going to say that again. I'm going to say that again.
Oh.
Every time you guys identify something, whether it's with somebody else, it comes through somebody else, it comes through yourself, every time you can identify something with precision, and you are able to understand, I do not know what that background, baby in the background.
We have a baby back there.
Every time
it's with an adult.
You can do that. You can identify that piece. Your consciousness, just knowing what it is, will already start to transform it. And that's amazing.
Yes.
So a lot of people say, like, I know I've got this, I don't know how to. Just your consciousness, if you've identified it. What happens is that oftentimes we think we've identified it, but what we've identified is a symptom. And that's why we don't see the change already happening. We don't see the resolution start to begin, because we're like, oh, I see it. But it's like we keep battering down the symptoms, right? And that's where we feel frustration. So if you've been feeling frustrated, I want to say first and foremost, you're not doing anything wrong.
Nope.
Okay? But you do need to shift focus and get the right support, or do what it is that you need to do. Again, it doesn't have to be us. It has to be something that creates the ability to see into those aspects of core. And then from that space, then you are able to get that more long-lasting and deeper, I should say, that deeper resolution to what you've been wanting for all that time. Because it does, it feels like you're self-defeating when you've been doing a lot of work on something and it isn't, feeling like it's shifting because it's actually symptom work. And, I want to go back to what Nicole said too before we end, is that if you are working symptoms, we've got to do that sometimes, because sometimes that is where we are. And so do not assess yourself in judgment. Don't say like, oh, well, this is where I am and I should be doing this. No. That is where you are because it is building you to the next step, to the next ability to be able to process that next chunk of information. And so there's no such thing as being in the wrong place. Your evolution is custom to you, where you are and what you are able to receive and willing to receive and ready to look at. Your psyche's ready to look at. That's individual for all of you. And there's something to that. When we dive really deep, we take our clients really, really deep. And I think it's important that we do that together. I think it's important that we co-create that space. I think that diving into those places alone and going with the same mind that created our same blocks, it can become really amazing. I talk about the mind like a dark alley. It's like, don't go in there alone. Don't go into the mind alone. Because it creates these sub-caverns of subconscious and unconscious thinking.
Especially you Geminis.
And I'm an air sign. Lots of thinking. It creates all these caverns. And the thing is that these spaces, these subconscious spaces, they connect us to the all, right? They connect us to our intuition, all that. So when I say to people like, listen to your heart, listen to your intuition, listen to your gut, and people say, I can't. It's so blocked up. You can't hear it. So see, this is amazing to see all the different ways that we're affected. That's a symptom. I can't hear my heart, can't hear my intuition. That's a symptom of being all clogged up. That is a symptom of that subconscious having so many stories and patterns and blocks and traumas and core that we can't even get back to that space.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I love you guys so much. So grateful that we were able to come on here live. We are also coming on here live tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this is going to be for a holiday prayer and blessing circle. So I really wish that you invite all of your friends, family members, people, really keep your eye tuned, put your alarm on, make sure that you join us for this and that we can really grieve the ones that you've lost over the holidays. The ones you've lost over the holidays, the difficulty, the challenges, the separations, the growth, blessing, to celebrate the gratitude, to celebrate the goodness, and to hold some massive space for you guys in your transformation. I'm going to invite you guys again to click the link in the description and make sure that you at least check out the amazing certificates that we have for you guys to take your work to the next level, as well as I invite all of you guys to consider the Mind and Manifestation Mastery and create that massive change for yourself. In that is a really, really great process, and I love to hear. So as you guys are getting these things, please share with us, especially if you're working your way through the Mind and Manifestation intensive. Let us know how it is working for you. Send us messages. We're here and available for you this weekend. We love you guys so much.
Love you so big.
Talk to you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye.